Yes, I'm Jim Geisey, representing the Bahai faith tradition. This is a module called Diversity of Faith, presented by the Global Ties Akron. It's a global education program. This module is specifically talking about the history and the tradition of the Bahai faith. The Bahai faith started in 1844 by a fellow called the Bab, which in its Arabic meaning the gate. He prophesied at that time that the world teacher that all religions were expecting is now will soon be manifest. And those representatives would be the Shalbaram from Zoroastrian, the Messiah from the Jewish tradition, the return of Christ from the Christian tradition, as well as the Sunni tradition of Islam. Islam was also expecting the return of the Mahdi or the Qayyim, and Baha'u'llah claims to be that particular representation. His name means, it is Arabic, and it means the glory of God. Baha means glory, U is of, and Allah, and it's a contraction, so it's a Baha'u'llah. He started the faith in 1853. His forerunner, or the herald of the Baha'i faith, was the Bab, and just like John the Baptist, he said this new teacher was coming for all mankind. It started in Iran, and because the Baba had 20,000 followers, and they killed him, pretty much like Christ was. They hung him up and blew him away. Then, following Baha'u'llah made his announcement in 1853 that he was the promised one. Again, it created an uproar among. He got a lot of followers from the Persia, and the Shah became somewhat excited, as well as his ministers, probably more so the ministers, because he said that he abolished the clergy. Again, that would not be too favorable in Iran at that time. And also all clergy, actually. He said that now is that we're in a new day, we're in a new age. And in this new age, mankind has developed his spiritual capacity, and a new element of his soul has been developed. And he is now able to comprehend. So we no longer need the clergy. We don't need the confession. In fact, he abolished confession. In fact, he abolished the clergy. Because of his teachings, obviously that would be a direct confrontation to Islam. And that was the tradition he was born into, and the culture that he was born into. And part of the tradition of Islam is that Muhammad was the seal of the prophets, and that was their understanding of it. And the fact that we're living in a new day means that whole period is gone. The tradition of the prophecy is over, and we're living in a new day. And this person has been called the manifestation of God. In a sense, he's like the prophets of the past, except a different terminology because of this new day. The teachings, he kind of spreads many different things. He kind of said that now is the day of unity. It is the day of elimination of prejudices of all kind, that men and women are equal, and that there should not be the disparity we're seeing now in the economic models of most of our cultures. That there should be an inequality to some degree, but not to the extent that it is now. He believes that a universal language should be established. It would be a second language, that you would keep your culture and your language, but at the same time you would be able to speak to people of all nations, because now is that time. Now is the time for not only unity of the world. So in order to accomplish that, a new parliament of religions would be established, and in that parliament itself there would be one common language, and he did not define what it would be, whether it be English or it could be Esperanto. Nothing else was defined at that point, but at some point they would make that decision. The family is the basis of all society, and that family is sacred. For you to get married in a Baha'i tradition, both families must approve the spouse or the bride. And if they cannot get that proof in writing, they cannot get married. And that does happen. In some cases, people do not get married because of that tradition. There's some new teachings of the Bahai faith, like in any religion. There are two aspects of religion. One is cultural, where it's talking about the secular tradition, or the not spiritual, not the spiritual. The spiritual laws are true in all religions. We believe in all religions. All religions come from God. There's a unity of mankind. There's a unity of religions and a unity of God. If you believe in the God of the past, it is the same as then as today. It's like the sun. If you see the sun today and you see the sun tomorrow, it is really the same sun you're seeing. You may call it by a different name. You may call it Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, or whatever, or Islam, and so forth. And basically, there are 5 Abrahamic faiths. The first is Judaism, that we know of, Christianity, Islam. Then actually, the Bab founded the Babi faith. Then the last one now is Baha'u'llah. They were all descendants of Abraham. So in that sense, they're all Abrahamic traditions. We feel that the religions differ in some degree, not from the spiritual laws. If you believe in the spiritual laws of any of these religions, you could become that religion. But if you try to follow the cultural laws or the secular laws, they do differ, because mankind progresses. Whereas obviously, when the first child was born, you say you can't marry your daughter or sister. That's all who was there. So that took place. And likewise, there's other social laws which have been abolished. And that's where people differ. But today we're living in a new age, and because of that new tradition, we think that eventually mankind will unite under the Baha'i faith. And they will still keep their cultural condition, but at the same time they will develop this new outlook, a new global perspective. And that's pretty much the fundamentals of Baha'i faith. Baha'u'llah was banished to Adrianople at that time, Constantinople after that, and then eventually to Akka in Haifa, Israel. That is now the seat of our particular faith. We call it the Universal House of Justice. And likewise, within our different nations, there are only, I think there's 7 temples, and maybe there's 9 temples in each continent. So I guess there'd be 7. And one was just established this past month in Peru. And that will be the last temple that will be established in the different continents. Locally, like the United States, in 1912, Baha'u'llah's son, Abdul Baha, meaning the servant of God, or the servant of glory, came here and talked to the United States people. And he quickly discovered that racism was very, very prominent here. And he said this has to be abolished, obviously. Because initially the Baha'is that were here that heard about the faith started with, in order to have a unit within a town or city, they call this thing a spiritual assembly. And you have to have at least 9 members. We have one in Kent, and it's a Kent community. And at that time, recently I was chairman of the Baha'i faith in Kent. And that spiritual assembly is no longer in existence. We had a lot of our people go to China to spread the faith there. And with that, I think we're down to like 5 members. And there's still a group in Kent. I moved out of Kent. I live in Twin Lakes. So I'm in a sense, I'm isolated Baha'i, which is okay, but I have no authority. We believe that the spiritual assemblies or national assemblies are divine, in a sense, when they're meeting together. Otherwise, they're just like you and I. They're just a common person. Likewise, when I was chairman of the spiritual assembly, I had a sense within that body. Whenever the 9 body got together and we met, we could make decisions for the community as well as families. And here, just points of. If people have contention, they would come to the spiritual assembly and say, hey, "This is our problem that we're experiencing. Do you have a solution for us?" And we'd meditate on that and contemplate on that and try to make a decision for that group. And that's supposedly law-abiding. If they do not agree with that decision, they can apply to the National Spiritual Assembly. And if they're not even happy with that, they can actually go to the Universal House of Justice, which we feel is the final solution. They have to abide with that law. And that's pretty much where the Baha'i faith is standing at this point. Like I say, it started in 1912 in the United States, and it's been present at this point. It's the second largest religion after Christianity. There's only 6 million Baha'is, but they're almost in every city and continent in the world. And that's kind of the story of the Baha'i faith. Thank you. Again, this represents the diversity model.